Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about AWE64 cards. Now I know what you're thinking, this is not an AWE64. This is a Sound Blaster 32. And we're not really going to talk about the sound card itself, but the memory that they were able to use. With two of these SIM modules installed in the sound card, you could load sound fonts up to 28 megabytes. Here I have another model that is a little bit more integrated. This card was already twice on my channel. This card also has SIM sockets, so you can install two SIM modules and get access again to 28 megabytes. And this card even has an AW chip on it. Now let's have a look at the sound card that carries the AWE64 model name. Again, we have the AW chipset, but the memory sockets are gone. And instead we have a memory chip here, and we have these connectors, these pin headers surrounding the EMU8K chip. This card is only equipped with 512 kilobytes of memory. I think this is this chip here. So you could only load sound fonts up to 512 kilobytes. And this is what made the AWE64 Value Edition. You only got 512 kilobytes of onboard memory. If you wanted to have more memory, then you had to buy a proprietary memory expansion board. These boards were quite expensive, and today they're almost impossible to find. Now, this is one of the AWE64 cards I have. Let's put this aside and have a look at another card. I'm not sure. This here may have been some sort of OEM card maybe. And this here is the retail version, but you clearly can see this one here is branded as a Sound Blaster AWE64. So this card has exactly the same problem. This is the Value Edition. It has 512 kilobytes of onboard memory, and again, it has these proprietary connectors. Let's have a look at a third model. And this I got from somebody in Germany. Thank you so much. You know who you are. This is the Sound Blaster AWE64 Gold. And again, we can see the two pin headers here. This is the EMU8K chip, and we have two memory chips this time, but they're not 512 kilobytes each for a total of 1 megabyte. No, these are 2 megabyte chips. So in total you have 4 megabytes on the Gold version. That's great because now you can load sound fonts up to 4 megabytes, but it's a far cry from the 28 megabytes the EMU8K chip can support. And this is the project I have been working on for the past few weeks, and I have spent way more hours than I want to admit on this project. Nevertheless, here is the PCB. This is the MIDI FORGE Symphony. This PCB uses 14 memory chips, 2 megabytes each, and it follows closely the design of the original Creative Memory Expansion board. So how difficult was it to design this board? Well, it took me quite some time to draw up the schematics and route all the traces by hand. This was definitely the most complex project I have ever worked on. There are over 600 traces to be routed, front and back. You have to space out the components correctly. The dimensions of this board are exactly the same as the original memory expansion board from Creative, and it should also be able to support the different memory configurations. Apart from the memory chips, you will have another 4 chips here that are programmable. You need the correct equations to program these 4 GAL or GAL chips, and that's the secret of this memory expansion board. I know there are already some replicas, but these memory expansion boards are not readily available. So yeah, hopefully we are going to change that today. I haven't tested this board yet, so I have no idea if it works. Let's figure out if it fits over the card, because that is also something that I wanted to make sure is correct. So the top one is a 2x13 row header. And the bottom one is a 2x12 pin header. And now let's see if this board goes over it. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's already pretty cool. So this is how the board will sit later on the sound card. Of course, I don't want to solder all these connections. Each of these memory chips has over 40 pins, and then times 14, and then all these chips here in the middle. So I asked PCBWay to give me a stencil for this board, and I asked them to send me one in a frame. I already used the stencil from PCBWay before, but this was for one of the memory sticks and this was frameless. So you will only get a simple metal sheet with the cutouts, and that's it. But for this one, I got the frame. And this is, well, a little bit too big for my taste, but I think it is interesting to see that you can get a stencil that is in a frame. And the quality of this stencil is just phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to work with this one. Yeah, and we are going to see this also in this video. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to get these memory chips off. Of course, if you can find these memory chips that are not on modules, that's a lot easier. But this is all I have, and I have to work with this one. So I will fire up my hot air station, and then we will get these chips off these memory PCBs. I already tested these memory modules in a system with memtest, so in case we have issues later on, provided that the PCB actually works, then I might have killed some of these chips with high heat, but I hope this is not going to happen. I am using my Aten 862D. This hot air station is really nice. I really enjoy working with it. We are at 350 degrees. And that's it. So all 16 memory chips are off. I think the heat was not too much. You see that the stickers are still intact, most of them. They just melted a little bit. And hot air station is cooling down. There we go. So these chips are still warm. That's why I'm wearing gloves. Oh. What I will do now is I will go under the microscope and check if there is some sort of residue on these pins. I just need to clean them up because later on when we are using the preheater to solder all of these chips to the board, I'm not going to do this manually. I need to have these pins as clean as possible. Of course, these PCBs have been fabricated by PCBWay, and as you can see, these boards are, as always, top quality. Without PCBWay, I wouldn't be able to work on these projects. But PCB fabrication is not the only service PCBWay provides. If you have a need in your project, you can also access CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and injection molding. So PCBWay can really be your one-stop shop for all your needs. And if you need to, you can also access the PCB Assembly services. So thank you so much PCBWay for sponsoring this video and providing the services that allow me to build PCBs like this. This is always the worst part, not knowing if all this effort was worth it. But in any case, I think this is a pretty cool PCB with all these chips on it, memory chips fully equipped, 28 megabytes. This will be the fully equipped version. Yeah, the cherry on top would be now if it really works. I'll try it on this sound card. I think I got this card at the scrapyard. We should be able to plug this expansion board directly on the sound card. Oh. Wow, that's pretty cool. Now it just has to work. Oh. Yes, yes. Please, 28 megabytes. Please, 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 please. Okay, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Yes! 28,671 kilobytes. Ah, I can't believe it. The Symphony board works. This was so much work. I spent hours designing this PCB. I think if I would have to count, north of 60 hours sitting and routing these traces. And it wasn't always easy because there were sometimes occasions where the space was very limited. Now I'm just curious what is going to happen with the memory test. Oh no. Ah, what a shame. I don't know, I have mixed feelings now. Well, it doesn't tell me which memory chips are faulty, that's not good. Okay, unfortunately the memory is faulty, but I tested it before, so I don't think the memory chips have an issue. Maybe I made a mistake with the programming of the GAL chips. Let me try this one more time. So I think the GAL chips are fine, the programming of them at least, because they are detecting the full memory size. So I think I have to double check all the pins of the memory chips, make sure that they're making proper contact with the pads. Maybe I missed one. Just one pin could make this test fail. Huh? What, now it worked? This card is toying with my feelings right now. I can't believe it. Okay, I've no idea what's happening right now. So I need to double check this, obviously. Maybe this card from the scrapyard has some issues. Maybe the pins are not that clean. I didn't check the connectors for where this expansion board is hooking up to. But that's good. Now I'm still a little bit confused because, well, we got the memory error at the beginning, but now we got the success. Let's test the memory one more time. So, what's the verdict on the third run? Successful. 2 out of 3. Okay, maybe there was just a hiccup at the very beginning. I don't know. I'll definitely try to figure this out. But as I said, I will have a updated revision of this board So yeah, now is a good time for you to let me know what you think about this project in the comments. We're still not done, but now you can let me know in the comments what you think about this little awesome project. So I did get something new from PCBWay, and if you're confused what this is all about, well, this is the final revision of the MIDI FORGE Symphony. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous because this is literally the first time I see the final PCBs. I haven't looked at them yet. They are supposed to be matte black with yellow silk screen, and they should be ENIG, gold plated, so to say. So let's see how these boards look like. Are you ready? Okay. This is the MIDI FORGE Symphony. Wow, okay, I already love it. I already love the color combination, the golden layer above all the contact pins, and the Sound Blaster AWE64 logo in the top right corner worked out beautifully. And yes, these are about 50 PCBs. We have to open them. Wow. These boards look really, really nice. So you can see here, this is revision 1.2. The entire video had different revisions. First, we started with revision 1.0. This was the revision that was shown when I first showed you the PCB, and this was also the version that I used in the teaser that I published a few days ago. Then adding solder paste and putting the board on the heater, this was revision 1.1. And now we have revision 1.2. It was a very long journey to get from this to this. I hope you enjoyed this project. And if you have a Sound Blaster AWE64, now is the time to get a 28 megabyte expansion board for your sound card. And the question is how you get it. Well, from today, these boards are available on PCBWay's shared project space. A link to PCBWay is obviously in the video description. Additionally to these 3 boards, I have another 2 boards which are already promised to other YouTubers. I will not reveal who they are, but if you're following the retro computing scene, then you're definitely aware of them. But that may take some time because, well, the boards are still with me and I'm going to send them out at the end of May. But if you want to build your own board, that's completely up to you. You get the PCBs from PCBWay, and you can go to my website where I published a small blog post where you can find the bill of materials, basically all the components that you need to build one of those boards, including the compiled files that you need to program the GAL chips. And while you're already on my website, maybe you will find some other interesting tools that we're going to talk about in the very near future. I'm happy that this project is over. But even though it feels like the end of this project, it is just the beginning. Because after I went through all this trouble and making this board, I immediately noticed that these memory chips aren't as commonly available. So I started another project, but this is still in another box, and well, we'll unpack it in a future video. This is the MIDI FORGE Rhapsody. It's a different board, different memory layout, different memory chips, but in essence it does exactly the same as the MIDI FORGE Symphony. It will increase your AWE64 memory to 28 megabytes. And of course the finishing of these PCBs will look very similar to the MIDI FORGE Symphony that you saw today. So I hope you're excited, because I think this is going to be another amazing project. Now I'm really curious what you think about this project. Do you like the color combination? Are you able to assemble one of these boards yourself? I really want that these boards are available to anybody who wants one. That's why you can just go over to PCBWay and make the boards yourself. The only problem is you have to assemble it, and it's not easy. I'm fully aware of this. It will take 2 to 3 hours. That's my experience. But if you're looking for a project and you have the correct memory chips, you're good to go. You can build your own MIDI FORGE Symphony from today. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And if you want to, please head over to PCBWay and order your MIDI FORGE Symphony boards today. And I will catch you in one of my future videos. Take care and bye-bye.